Our saint for today is San Roque or Saint Roch, also known as Saint Rocco, and a few similar names according to the countries where he is honored. Did you ever wonder why among all the saints, San Roque is among the few we call on for prayer and protection against today's pandemic? It is because he was such a holy person that the Lord gave him the power to cure illnesses, particularly the plague. Saint Roch was such gifted by God to be a healer of serious diseases. Saint Roch was born in Montpellier, France in the year 1295. His father was a governor and his mother was descended from the nobility. His birth was miraculous, since his mother was barren and she prayed to the Virgin Mary in order to have a child. When the child was born, he had a red cross on his breast, a sign of God's predilection, and he grew up with it. Surprisingly, even from infancy, the child was already strictly ascetic. He did not cry so much to seek his mother's attention. When his mother fasted, as a devotional practice, the child would also fast by sucking his mother's milk only once during the day. And certainly, the child grew up to be a very virtuous and well-behaved boy. Roch was 20 years old when his parents died, one after the other. Roch's father, at his deathbed, ordained him to be the next governor, but he did not follow his father's wish. He distributed his wealth to the poor and set out as a mendicant pilgrim to Rome. When he arrived in Rome in 1316, the Black Death epidemic, or bubonic plague, had just broken out. He volunteered to tend to the sick, not only in Rome, but in other Italian provinces. Already, he was performing miracles through his prayers, the sign of the cross, and the touch of his hand. In the long run, however, he also got ill, and because he was poor and a stranger, he was expelled from the city of Rome. He went to a forest and built a small hut for himself made of leaves and twigs. Miraculously, a spring arose near his hut to supply him with water. Then a dog, who belonged to a certain nobleman, came every day to bring him some bread and food. The dog's master one day followed his dog to see where it was bringing the food and discovered Roch in his hut. He became a friend of Roch and later a follower. Since Roch was still healing from the epidemic, he had a wound on his thigh. The dog would lick his wounds and it got healed. This is why Saint Roch is represented in art, showing his wounded thigh and a dog beside him with bread in its mouth. After some time, Roch returned to Montpellier still as a mendicant. Being poorly clad and begging for alms, he was accused as a spy. Unfortunately, he was imprisoned by his own uncle for 5 years at the basement of their own mansion. Roch did not reveal his true identity because he shunned worldly glory. He spent those years in prayer and penance. Towards the end of those years of imprisonment, in 1327, he got sick and died. When the people saw the red cross on the breast of the dead body, they immediately recognized him as the son of the former governor. His relatives came to give him a fitting funeral. The people acknowledged him at once as a holy man, and miraculous healings happened. Soon, a church was built in his honor, and his fame spread throughout Europe and to other parts of the world. In the Philippines, there are about 80 churches with Saint Roch as patron saint, not counting the barangay chapels that have him also as patron. Today, Saint Roch is venerated throughout the world as confessor, patron of bachelors, pilgrims, falsely accused, sick and invalids, against epidemic, protector of dogs, and many others. The Third Order of St. Francis, an association of lay people who follow the spirit of St. Francis, claims that Saint Roch was a member of their group. Such a humble and holy person is what the world needs today. His virtues are love of God, humility, courage, fortitude, patience, long-suffering, and love for the poor. Saint Roch, your power was so great that through the sign of the cross and the touch of your hand, you cured the many sick who came to you. Please come to our aid and deliver us from the present pandemic and from the many illnesses we are being afflicted with, and help us lead a holy life so that, like you, we may enjoy God's loving presence. Amen.